Did you know that after age 70, we lose up to 15% of our muscle mass every single decade, even if we eat normally? That means by 80, you might have only half the strength you had at 60. It's not just about looking frail. It's about losing balance, falling more easily, and feeling helpless when getting out of a chair or carrying groceries. I know, because I've lived it. My name is Haruko. I'm 84 years old, and I live in a quiet seaside village in Japan. I still walk every morning, cook for myself, and carry my own vegetables home from the market. But it wasn't always like this. I used to feel my legs trembling just standing up from the tatami mat. Everything changed when I discovered a humble seed protein that brought back not just my strength, but my dignity. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from? And what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Why do we lose muscle so fast? After 70. When I turned 70, I thought I was just getting older. I didn't realize something more specific and preventable was happening inside my body. One morning, I tried to lift a small basket of laundry and felt like I had bricks tied to my arms. That's when I learned about sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass that accelerates after age 70. It's not just about not exercising enough. Even if we stay active, our bodies naturally produce less of the hormones and signals that tell our muscles to grow and repair. Our cells become less responsive to protein, and digestion isn't as efficient. It's like trying to build a house with fewer workers and weaker tools. In Japanese culture, we have a saying, "Karada wa shokuzai de deketeru." The body is made from what you eat, and while movement is essential, food plays a silent but powerful role in how well we age. When we're young, our bodies forgive poor choices, but after 70, every bite either strengthens or weakens us. One study from the National Institutes of Health showed that seniors over 70 who consumed less than 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight lost significantly more muscle than those who ate enough. And yet, many older adults in the US still rely heavily on toast, tea, or low-protein snacks throughout the day. Not because they're careless, but because their appetite isn't the same, or chewing becomes harder, or they simply don't know how much protein they need. I was one of them. I thought a bowl of rice and some pickles was enough, but I started to shrink, not just in height, but in spirit. What changed everything was understanding this. After 70, muscle is not just about strength. It's about independence. It's what lets us get up from the toilet unassisted. What lets us carry our grandchildren. What lets us live without fear of falling. And it starts, not in the gym, but in the kitchen. My turning point. From fragile to firm after 70, there was a moment, one small, ordinary moment, that changed everything. I was trying to hang my futon blanket outside to air, something I'd done for decades. But this time, I couldn't lift it. My arms trembled. My back felt weak. I stood there, breathing heavily, stunned. That's when I realized my strength was disappearing. I visited a clinic the next day. The doctor looked at me kindly and said, "Haruko-san, your muscles are fading faster than they should. You need more protein, not just fish or tofu. Even certain seeds can help." Seeds? I didn't believe it at first. I always thought muscle came from meat or eggs. Seeds felt too light, too small to matter. But I was wrong. A friend from Tokyo sent me a small packet of greenish powder, pumpkin seed flour. She said her father regained his strength with it after surgery. I was skeptical, but curious. I added a spoonful to my miso soup. No taste, no smell, no upset stomach. 2 weeks later, something changed. I stood up from my tatami mat more easily. I walked farther without stopping. After a month, I could lift the futon again. It wasn't magic, it was nourishment. Every day, just 1 or 2 spoonfuls gave my body what it needed. Amino acids, minerals, and healthy fats, all in a form I could absorb easily. No bloating, no heaviness, just strength, returning little by little. What surprised me most? It worked better than eggs, which often upset my stomach, and better than whey protein, which left me bloated. This simple seed powder fit into my life without disruption and gave me back something priceless, the ability to move freely. What I discovered after trying every protein, and the seed that worked after that first success with pumpkin seed flour, I became curious. I wanted to understand why it worked better for me than all the other proteins I had tried, and believe me, I had tried many. For most of my 70s, I ate more eggs, believing they were the perfect protein. I scrambled them, boiled them, even mixed them into rice. But over time, they made my stomach uneasy. Sometimes I felt heavy after eating them. And as I learned later, the older digestive system doesn't break down egg protein as efficiently as it once did. It's not the food's fault, it's simply age. I also tried chicken and tofu. Chicken helped, but it was hard to chew, and I didn't always have the energy to cook it properly. Tofu was gentle, yes, but it didn't give me that lift I needed. My body wanted something easier to absorb, something more concentrated. Then I looked into whey protein. Everyone talked about it, especially younger people who lift weights. I bought a small bag from a health store. The taste was strange, like artificial vanilla. Worse, it made me bloated and gave me gas. I stopped after 3 days. That's when I returned to the pumpkin seed. Quiet, humble, and almost forgotten in modern diets, but it worked. Later, I learned that pumpkin seeds contain all 9 essential amino acids. That makes them a complete protein, just like eggs and meat. But unlike animal proteins, they're also rich in magnesium, zinc, and healthy fats, which support bone strength, heart health, and even sleep, something many of us struggle with as we age. One study published in the journal Nutrition Research showed that older adults who consumed plant-based proteins, like seeds, had better muscle maintenance over time, especially when their digestion was compromised. Another research from Japan highlighted how easy-to-digest protein sources helped elderly patients maintain independence longer than those on traditional high-meat diets. And that's when it all made sense to me. My body didn't just need protein, it needed something it could use easily. A protein that respected my slower digestion, my changing needs, my desire for peace, not power. The pumpkin seed gave me all that, not with noise or flash, but with steady support. It became part of my daily life, a spoon in my morning miso, a pinch in my rice. Some days, I mix it with warm water and a bit of soy sauce. Nothing fancy, but deeply nourishing. What science says? Pumpkin seed, protein versus eggs, whey, and meat. I'm not a scientist, but as someone who has lived more than 8 decades, I've learned to pay attention to what my body tells me. Still, I was curious. Was it just me? Or was pumpkin seed protein truly as powerful as I felt it was? So I asked my granddaughter, who is a dietitian in Tokyo, to help me dig into the science. She sent me articles, research papers, and comparisons. And the results were surprising. even to her. First, pumpkin seeds are one of the very few plant-based complete proteins. That means they contain all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to build and repair muscle. Most plant proteins, like beans or rice, are missing 1 or 2. But pumpkin seeds have the full set, just like eggs, meat, or dairy. Second, they are especially rich in leucine, an amino acid that triggers muscle growth. In fact, gram for gram, pumpkin seed protein contains nearly as much leucine as eggs. And compared to whey protein, pumpkin seeds offer additional minerals like magnesium, which supports muscle contraction and reduces cramps, and zinc, which boosts recovery. But what really caught my attention was a study published in Nutrients Journal in 2022. It compared various protein sources for seniors over 65. The study found that plant-based proteins rich in micronutrients, especially pumpkin seed and hemp, were better tolerated, had fewer side effects, and led to equal or better preservations of muscle mass in older adults who had digestive issues or low appetite. That's when it all made sense. As we age, our stomach acid levels drop. Our pancreas doesn't produce the same amount of enzymes. So even if we eat plenty of chicken or eggs, we may not absorb it well. But pumpkin seed protein, especially when ground into a fine powder, is gentler on digestion. It requires less effort to break down, and it doesn't leave you bloated or sluggish afterward. And unlike many protein powders sold in stores, pumpkin seed protein doesn't contain artificial sweeteners, fillers, or milk derivatives. It's simple, it's clean, and it's real. Another benefit? Anti-inflammatory compounds. Pumpkin seeds are rich in antioxidants and phytosterols, which help reduce inflammation, a key factor in age-related muscle loss. This is something eggs and whey don't offer. Now, I'm not saying you should stop eating eggs or meat. Every body is different, but if your stomach feels unsettled after certain meals, or if your muscles feel weaker despite eating well, it might be time to try a gentler protein. One that meets your body where it is, not where it used to be. How the Japanese use this seed to stay strong and youthful. In Japan, we rarely talk about superfoods. We simply talk about balance. A quiet bowl of rice, a warm miso soup, a sprinkle of seeds. These small, everyday rituals build our health over time, like water wearing down stone. Pumpkin seeds, or kabocha no ten, have been part of Japanese kitchens for centuries, but unlike in the West, where they're often roasted and salted as snacks, we use them differently, more subtly, and more medicinally. In my village, older women roast the seeds gently, then grind them into a fine powder using a mortar and pestle. It's called tanamuji. We store it in small glass jars, and every morning we stir a spoonful into miso soup or porridge, not for flavor, for strength. Our belief is simple. If the body is nourished consistently, the bones stay light and the legs stay firm. I grew up hearing my grandmother say, "Ashita mo arukitai nara, kyo no shokuji o taisetsu ni." If you want to walk tomorrow, honor today's meal. What makes this seed so special isn't just its protein, it's how it blends into daily life. Unlike meat, it doesn't require chewing or heavy digestion. Unlike pills, it doesn't feel foreign or forced. And unlike trendy powders, it's rooted in real tradition. Many elderly Japanese who've never lifted weights still maintain good posture and muscle tone well into their 80s and 90s. Why? Because we move every day, yes, but also because our meals quietly support us, and pumpkin seed is one of those quiet supporters. Take Mr. Takayama, my neighbor. He's 91 and still cycles to the shrine every Sunday. His wife stirs pumpkin seed powder into their rice water every morning. It's not medicine, she told me once. It's just part of our rhythm. Science supports this rhythm too. A small study from Kyoto University followed 40 elderly adults who added ground pumpkin seed to their daily rice or soup. After 8 weeks, they showed improved grip strength, better balance, and reduced muscle fatigue without changing anything else in their diet or exercise routine. It's also deeply affordable. In Japan, we don't think health should cost a fortune. A small bag of raw seeds can be roasted at home, ground once a week, and used for days. We don't chase variety, we chase what works and what lasts. Of course, tradition alone isn't enough, but when tradition aligns with modern science, it becomes powerful, it becomes trustworthy, and for me, it became personal. Every morning, when I stir that small spoon of seed powder into my soup, I feel like I'm placing a quiet bet on myself. Not a promise of youth, but of strength, of presence, of the ability to stand, walk, and live without fear. How I use pumpkin seed protein daily, and how you can too many people think building muscle after 70 means going to the gym or drinking big shakes. But in my experience, the most lasting changes came not from doing more, but from doing less, more gently, and more consistently. Pumpkin seed protein became part of my life in a quiet, nourishing way. No diets, no powders with labels I couldn't read. Just a simple practice that fits into what I already do each day. Here's how I use it, and how you can, too. Each Sunday, I roast a batch of raw pumpkin seeds on low heat. Just 10 to 15 minutes in the oven until they smell slightly nutty. I let them cool, then grind them into a fine powder using a small coffee grinder. That's it. Nothing added, no salt, no sugar, just seeds. I store the powder in a clean jar and keep it in the refrigerator. It stays fresh for about 7 to 10 days. Every morning I take 1 spoonful, about a tablespoon, and stir it into warm foods. My favorite way? Miso soup. The powder dissolves easily and doesn't change the taste. I've also mixed it into rice porridge, blended it into banana with water, and even added it to oatmeal when visiting my family in the US. One grandson called it Grandma's Green Sprinkle. Some friends ask, can I bake it into muffins or cookies? Of course, but for me, the point isn't to turn it into a dessert. The point is to keep it simple, digestible, and easy on the body. I always take it with a meal, not alone. When protein is paired with other foods, especially a bit of healthy fat or carbohydrate, the body absorbs it more steadily. And at our age, that steadiness matters more than speed. If you're just starting out, begin with half a tablespoon. See how your body feels. If it agrees with you, you can gently increase. There's no rush. Some people prefer to buy pumpkin seed protein powder from the store. That's fine too. Just make sure it's pure. No added sugars, flavors, or fillers. The simpler, the better. And please remember, this isn't a miracle cure. You won't feel younger overnight. But over a few weeks, you may notice small things. Getting out of a chair with more ease, feeling steadier when walking, sleeping a little deeper. Those signs are your body saying, thank you. In Japan, we believe that healing begins not when symptoms disappear, but when small joys return. The joy of walking to the garden. The joy of lifting your teacup with a steady hand. The joy of carrying your own groceries, even if it's just one small bag. That's what this seed gave me. Not youth, but return. Who should be careful, and how to use it safely. Even the most natural things in life deserve a little caution. especially when we're older. While pumpkin seed protein has been gentle and healing for me, I've also learned that not everybody reacts the same way. So before you begin adding it to your meals, here are a few things to consider. First, if you have a seed allergy, even mild, please be cautious. Though pumpkin seeds are not as allergenic as peanuts or sesame, they can still cause reactions in sensitive individuals. If you've never eaten them before, start with a tiny amount, less than a quarter teaspoon, and observe your body for a day or two. Second, for those with digestive issues like diverticulitis or gallbladder problems, check with your doctor. While ground seeds are easier to digest than whole ones, some people may still experience discomfort. My neighbor, Mr. Yoshi, found that mixing the powder into soups helped, but he couldn't tolerate it in yogurt or on its own. Third, be mindful of medications, especially blood thinners. Pumpkin seeds contain vitamin K and other compounds that might interfere slightly with certain medications. It's rare, but it's always best to check with your healthcare provider, especially if you're on long-term prescriptions. Also, moderation matters. Just because something is healthy doesn't mean more is better. 1 to 2 tablespoons per day is usually enough. Too much fiber or oil from the seeds could cause loose stools or discomfort, especially if your digestion is delicate. I always suggest starting with half a tablespoon and listening to your body. Take notes if you like. Notice how you feel, not just in your stomach, but in your energy, your movement, your sleep. And remember, pumpkin seed protein is not a replacement for meals or medications. It's a quiet companion, a helper, one part of a broader rhythm that includes gentle movement, warm meals, and rest. One more thing. I've seen many products labeled pumpkin seed protein that are mixed with whey, artificial sweeteners, or gums. Please read the label carefully. The best option is raw pumpkin seed powder, ground at home or bought from a trusted brand with no additives. In Japan, we say, "Shizen ni nara," follow nature's way, and nature never hurries. It strengthens us through time, through repetition, through kindness. I didn't expect a seed to change my life, but it did. Not by making me young again, but by helping me feel present in my body, steady in my steps, and hopeful about each new day. After 70, it's easy to feel invisible. The world moves fast, and our bodies slow down. But strength doesn't have to mean lifting weights or running marathons. Sometimes it means standing up without pain, cooking your own meal, walking to the garden without fear. Pumpkin seed protein reminded me that healing isn't loud, it's quiet. It happens when you choose to care for yourself, even in small ways. 1 spoon at a time, 1 breath at a time. So wherever you are today, whether you feel strong or fragile, hopeful or tired, know this, your body is still listening, and it's never too late to give it something good. Before you go, I'd love to know, what part of this story spoke to you the most? Please share in the comments, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Disclaimer: health information on YouTube is not medical advice and may not apply to everyone. If you have health concerns, talk to your doctor or healthcare provider. If you need emergency care, call your local emergency number.